Hello, and here's for another AAA Wargaming Battle Report. This is the first of Black Country Brawl 3, which was a team tournament hosted by Jordan Davies. So, my first round was against another Sylvanels. I think when you look at the list, lots of people just wouldn't want to fight them. They're quite shooty. All of us are quite shooty, and we just naturally. I think there were going to be a lot of Sylvanel matchups potentially until I'm pretty sure when I wake up Sunday morning, I just went, David, I don't want any more Sylvanels. That was my only request on that. But here's battle report number 21, and going into this tournament, it was only teams of four, and Spiky put in a club. We've done one online version, and this was sorry our first live one. So we're just amateurs. We didn't tailor our lists at all. We took what we thought was okay and something we were comfortable with. I was a bit out of practice, so my last one was Art of War, so I took pretty much the same list. I still think it's a very good list, but I think it's just not something I'm comfortable with, especially after I've just had a friendly again today, and I prefer that list. But either way, so this was against Craig Johnson, so we got paired up against the Old Boys, or Team Old Boys, which when you look at the people involved, like I mean, yeah, we were okay. There's a double master in there. There's what ex-England captain coach. There's another one. It's yeah. So yeah, I think in the Ped Weapons podcast they wondered about giving us a handicap, which I think was okay. Maybe it should have been a good idea at the beginning. But anyway, we got paired up as were. So I think going into it, I was thought I can do okay against Craig with this list. I know Sylvanel's well. It's something that he's very good at. I was worried about when we go through his list. I was worried about it, but the Demon Legions, that Dark Hide list, and I said I can play that one. I've got enough poison in the list. I can do some damage, but again, it's going to be difficult. Dread Elves, I looked at it and went, actually, I don't mind this one. I can shoot quite a bit, but I don't get the objective. And then VC, I was like, just don't. I'll take some points, but I'll lose the objective, and I won't come back with a win. So I got probably the second best one I probably could have in that list, maybe third best. But either way, it was with Craig Johnson. So this is his list: Double Master, Cosmo, and Shamanism, which is always a tricky one. Uh, is between Totemic Summon and Unity and Divergence with my army because quite a lot of it is low points. I completely forgot about the Unity Divergence for a bit of a spoiler one time, but it's a really good magic phase, and both of my Eagle Kings just can't touch them. He's got a good Chieftain, BSB, that can be in the right place at the right time, reasonably well armed, and he just adds a bit of a punch. Some good archers. Now they come down in points, they're actually very workable. I think they're a good unit now. And they can definitely add out some punch. It's if you're not aiming for them and whittling them down, they will start just taking wounds off you. Uh, Obligatory 2/8 strides of scoring, just that cheap stuff, and then 3 units of Wild Huntsman with Rending Banner and Silver Blades, but importantly also had shield. So they still maintained a 4 up against shooting, but with that Silver Blades and double strength buff, actually they're a really good blender unit. And then 2 units of 9 Briar Maidens, so not long range, but really high AP, very maneuverable, getting my way. When I looked at this, I made a mistake. I think I thought the Briar Maidens were going to be quite dangerous along with the Wizards, but actually, what I really needed to concentrate on from the word go was the Wild Huntsman, because once they're out of the way, actually some of my stuff can start going for the objectives. My Tree Fathers can start running around and causing problems. But yeah, it's something I didn't quite get at the time when I was doing my analysis. When you look at my list, I think I still have a good list to go up against this. I can still match him. I've got lots of shooting. I've got 2 Tree Fathers. Um, I've got my Blade Dancer's good. I've still got Drums of Kemrin, so I'm quite happy with a lot of stuff here. Um, so I'm not overly concerned. I just knew it was going to be very much whoever got to go first was going to have a distinct advantage in this list. I think that's with every Shooty Silver Elf list. That was going to be the same either way. In terms of objective with King of the Hill, I think he's got far more scoring units than I have, so he can actually do that. And his archers can just sit off and pepper me as I come forward. So I think it was just going to be. I thought he had a slight advantage. Well, no, actually in scoring, I thought I had a slight advantage because my units were. In fact, no, sorry. I thought he was going to shoot off my scoring units, and then hopefully I could get my tree fathers into his. And that was my hope that I could block on that, and it was going to be a draw. In terms of magic, I went for Perception of Strength and Ice and Fire so that I could reduce his strength of his blender units in case he got ridiculous against my True Fathers. And Ice and Fire just start taking some of them off, especially those Briar Medians. And then I've got the two other ones. I took Healing Water and Summer Growth because he hasn't got any Flaming Blenders. And Summer Growth just to bring my stuff back. Especially because I knew at this point he was going to get first. So I got to choose sides and then he chose to drop first. He took those spells there. I think I could have guessed. I think I did say I guessed the shamanism ones. Um, and yeah, it's pretty deadly. Whatever spell he gets off is going to hurt me. So I knew I had to close with him quite quickly. I thought in terms of magic, he definitely has an advantage, and it's one of the weaknesses with this list. Magic never really felt impactful. It's just a little bit too spread out with two shots, two buffs, and stuff like that. And it just doesn't quite hit the mark. So this is deployment. Just in terms of terrain, we had a hill on this side. That was my forest there that I dropped. A what they called a field. We also then two more forests, and then he dropped his forest there. So we had four forests on the board, and then there was a wall in the middle there and another hill on that side. So my thought was I could use the hill on this side and he'd have to come and get it. He'd probably do the same over there, and we'd have to have a push, and I could possibly use my side with my mobile characters to just block him off. What he's done is he's set up. So he's set up his Wild Huntsman backwards, so there, and there. And then he's set up his Briar Maidens there and there. Yeah, these two are Wild Huntsman. And then he's got two units of Dryads, and then he's got three Archer blocks at the back there. And then he's got his two Wizards in the middle. So I thought, okay, this sticks to the plan. I can stick my Tree Fathers on the right to contest the objective and cause problems, and I can put everything else on the left and go for that. And that's what I did. So you can see here. So what has happened is I've got my Tree Fathers up here. I put them on the hill. I'm expecting maybe some early shooting just to keep them honest so they can't just rush up and sit there. And then I was going to try and close with them and shoot them. Then put my two sentinels back here, and this is just so I could pick a side and go for it, and also keep out of his archer's range. I've got my forest rangers here, so they're in cover, and blade dancers here for the first turn, but still they can go that, and I can support here with this side. I think in hindsight, actually I think this was good because it stopped him coming down the centre and splitting me up, so I still could control this quite well. I then have my Heath Riders here and Dryads here to go for the objective. My idea here is I didn't want him rushing his Wild Huntsman forward here and having a massive gap to play with, and then I have the two Heath Hunters on the left there. I was happy with my setup at the moment. I thought it was okay, and I thought it gave me a lot of flexibility to either move left and move right. I could give up the objective. I thought I could still have the ability to affect it quite well. Yeah, I was pretty happy. Turn one, he's moved up quite aggressively with the Wild Huntsman, just basically all three units across my fronts and both Briar Maidens. He's moved his archers up on the hill on the left, and you can see they're just about to open up onto these guys. So I've possibly made a mistake here. I think in hindsight, I should have expected that and just kept them all out of range at the back, just to not give him a first turn shooting. That was a mistake. I didn't need to do that. Otherwise, he's just getting ready to use magic in the center and cast Totemic Summon or Chilling Howl. I think maybe that was. I didn't think I'd be able to stop Chilling Howl fully. I could have thought about it, but even if I spaced out my lines, it just carries on. In his shooting and magic, he took four off the Sentinels behind the Blade Dancers in the center. He then took another four off the Heath Hunters and left with both units of archers on the hill there. Yeah, as I said, this is why I should have kept them further away at the moment, so I've just wasted four of them. And then he took another one off of the Sentinels. So I've lost 9 bows for my first turn shooting, which is not something I could have mitigated quite happily, I think, actually. So I didn't need to do that. I'd have lost some for magic, but it's not something I needed to do. So then what I've done, so I wanted to push quite hard early. So I thought, whilst he's got most of his combat power over here, between his BSB and his Briar Maidens there, his two Wild Huntsmen and two Dryads, I was like, okay, I know I can move back off the hill here and just keep hitting and just go. I've got 6 turns, move the Blade Dancers here, and I've just created this area here he can't go into. I can move the Forest Rangers forward and just start threatening this hill and trap them. But to do that, I need to take his combat threat out, the Wild Huntsman. So he's got 10 of them on this side. No, 10 or 9. Yeah, 9 of them. 9 of them on this side. And in that, I've got 10 shots here, 4 shots, 5 shots there, and another 16 shots on this side. So overall, about 30 odd shots, plus magic going into this one unit. I've looked at it, should, even at long range, well, they were, some of them were at short range as well. I should be doing some serious damage to them. They've only got a 4 up, 6 up. I was happy. What I have done is also brought these in charge range, so I took a risk. What I should have done was evened it out a bit more and moved them back into the second one, but I don't, and that would have been a better use of that. So, what happens? In Magic, it's a bit of a fluff. I don't really get anything off, um, and that's the end result. Yeah, spoiler. So, I only kill 4. I think he managed to make 8 out of 10 5-up saves on them, and I was just sat there and went, oh, I haven't thought about this. This is not good. So you can see what's going to happen here because I've got my Forest Rangers, which could be charged in the flank, and actually is preferable at this point because now that but he knows they're just literally sat in front of the world's biggest firepower. So I do have a problem here, but this is what happens. So he goes through there and charges my block, and I know that's dead. I do a standard shoot and I kill one more. Uh, Yep, kill one more. But it's that unit's gone. Unless I get very, very, very lucky, that unit is dead. And then they're going to overrun by the centaurs. So that's my magic, my general, everything going. I was like, oh, that's not good. Cool. He then opens up and he casts Totemic Summon. I was happy with that. I was like, okay, he gets Breath Weapon. In my head, I completely forgot about Unity of Vengeance. So I was stopping Ice of Fire. So I was like, yes, stop Ice and Fire. And that's the one I cared about. Sorry, this is other movements. So he's moved the Briar Maiden start up here, so you can hear he's actually quite happy. He knows he's going through here, and he's got it. My play in this game, that turn, we're going to put down to the Brewdog, the alcoholic Brewdog. That was a mistake. He was sober, I was not. That and he's a far better player. And you can see him start to be just. He's in no rush to push on this side. He can just start picking off units here. He's moved his archers base on this time to start picking off here. So he's in a commanding position at this moment in time. He brings on Totemic Summon here, and this is on the left. And then he passed Unity Divergence and shoots I think he does 11 of 23 are dead by the end of this, just from the spell. And then he kills another 2 in shooting there. And then the Totemic Summon and the shooting kill off another couple on the right. So I think I only have 3 left. I only have 2 left of the Heath Hunters on there. And after the shooting, I only have 3 on this side here. So that's not great. Worse, in combat, he wipes out my Sentinels. My General and Wizard run. They get run down. And he runs into my other Sentinels. So in my turn, he's going to kill them off and then turn around and do some other damage. So, on to my turn 2. I'm in a bit of a pickle at the moment, but I've got to risk it. So, what I do is I take a 10 charge with the Dryads here into that block. Take a stand and shoot, not many die, and then I'm in. I've got an overrun potentially onto his Wizard there, so I can sort of collapse this flank a bit and start heading for the objective. My Forest Rangers are there, so I took a charge as well here. So this was a 10-inch, but I felt that either I charge and get in, or it all goes horribly wrong. So he did a standard shoot there, and I didn't get in with that one. But if I had, I think I would have taken them off, and had a bit more of a chance. That's another unit. I think I might have been able to contest the objective a bit more on this side for a longer term. Otherwise, I felt I had to push my blade dancers out just to start pushing this unit back and risk the tree fathers a bit more on this side, just so I could start blocking these units and see if I could take some opportunity with their shooting into there. But I was taking a risk here, and maybe I should have retained points and gone for a small loss. I don't think any of us really. I think I asked once in the tournament about, do I go for a small loss or do I need a big win? But either way, I think we needed a big win. So, there we go. I knew it was going to be tricky without any magic after that. In terms of combat, I managed to get 5 between their 2 shooting attacks. I managed to take 5 off one of their wild huntsmen. I was like, that's pretty good. But my centaurs got wiped out, and he turned around to face my forest rangers or blade dancers. In terms of combat, I managed to kill. This is quite interesting. I killed the oh no, I made the archers run. They then caused a panic check on the wizard, and the Cosmo Master ran off the board. So no more Cosmo Master. So that's quite good points, and hopefully those archers can leave now. But otherwise, so I'm looking a lot better on this left-hand side. In terms of his one, he does charge my forest rangers. You can see in the left-hand picture with these wild huntsmen, and they're pretty much dead. I did wonder why he didn't charge the blade dancers, but actually he made the right choice because then I realised how much shooting he had, and he pretty much surrounds them. His random mover on the right doesn't get into the Heath Riders, which I was pretty happy with. So it does mean still got a scoring unit, and it's within threat range. After shooting, sorry, after movement, what he's done is he's just surrounded my blade dancers in the center. So they've got what, two units of archers at him and 2 blade dancers. What Craig didn't see, but I did, and so I was like, oh, if only I had magic on them or it's done something, or maybe he rolls bad, is I've got drums of Kemerin. That unit is quite a long way away. What he didn't think about was that unit there. I was in line of sight there. And also, from there to there is really not that far. So he drums a Kemerin even if I've got 2 units, one enough alive to head in, and then calls that. That takes that unit out, and suddenly it's a lot different game. And it just means I've completely destroyed the scoring on that side because actually I've got some reasonable scoring position, and he's had to. Oh, sorry, he's also charged them into a tree father, and I'm like, there's a possibility that could lose, and if he does, then I'm into him. And he's failed. The other thing he did was did charge those 10 into their flank as well, and they failed a really easy one. I did make the comment about, I need to get Rory over here. Some wild huntsmen have failed, and it's yours this time. And it was an easy charge, so I got quite lucky there. So there's potential here that I'd take this unit out, and then that would have been good. So otherwise, yeah, his shooting absolutely demolishes them. So he takes on my forest rangers in combat, but in shooting, he puts them down and kills one enough. I just needed one more, and I clip there. Either way, I can't. I've got a champion left in the unit and that, so I've got to somehow work with it and make sure they survive for another turn. Worse, I've got my BSB on 1 wound as well, so there's only 2 wounds left in the unit, and that's a lot of points. And I can't really charge anything at the moment. So I've sucked up his shooting for 1 turn, but achieve fairly little by coming out of the wood. What I do here is I move my units around here and take risk with the random mover. Basically, I give him a really, really long one. I move them back here just to keep them busy for another turn, so try and split his forces. In combat, as you can see here, he's only done about 2 wounds to a tree father, but I only managed to kill. No, he killed 1 of wound to me, and I killed 1 of him. I was steadfast past my leadership, which was lucky, but I was hoping to kill a few more than just 1. Especially as I'm hitting on 3s, winning on 2s, which yeah, was a bit annoying, but that's the way it goes. And then on this side, what I do is I move up my tree father here, and that's so I can minimize the amount of people that are coming in, block him off from charging there, but also just get a shooting attack in on these, and that's the plan mainly. Otherwise, I want to move the Dryads up here, and this is just so I can start threatening here and get the objective, but I've just kept them on the other side of the hill, so he has to come up onto the hill to go after me. I've moved the Heath Riders all the way down here to get them away from that random mover that you can just sort of see there. And then I've got these two here as well. And what I do is I think I move them so I can shoot at them all then. I miss the rest of the turn, but in my turn he kills me in combat. So I'd killed two more. He put me down to, or maybe he did only one week last time. Either way, I broke and ran and got killed. And there goes Hooters, which is really sad because now he's also got me in the flank for my other tree father. In his turn four, sorry, it's a bit of a mess here, but my guys are hiding between his dead pile. Those two are actually there, so it's a unit of three. This thing is down to one wound, so there's a possibility I could kill it here. So that's what he was hoping on. That's why he went into the two rather than the three here. But yeah, he managed to get that log roll. And then he just moves up around on the left. I think at this point I was like, yep, that's quite bad. As soon as my tree father went on my blade dancers, that I was thinking, yeah, this is going to be quite dangerous. I was hoping to kill his totemic summon, just get lucky. I just need to get that one wound, because what he has missed is I realise there's a flank charge here. Firstly onto there because these aren't there, they're there. So if they can go into the Briar Maidens, I'll have a flank charge, flank, maybe a couple of wounds, and hopefully he doesn't do anything. So I probably win by 3, maybe 4. Hopefully I can break him and then overrun into his Wild Huntsman unit. And then there's only one of them in the flank, etc. So maybe I could just bounce these through these two. So that's the way. What actually happens is he gets some spell off. Oh yeah, he's also charged in here on this side as well. So I've got all of them into one tree father now. So it's looking pretty bad actually. There's quite a lot of attacks coming that way. He gets a strength buff on the front unit as well. So it's no, I stopped the strength buff. What does he get off? I think he gets off another totemic summon. Yep, there it is. So we've got a totemic summon off. So that's another one. So there goes my Heath Riders, potentially all my Dryads. I imagine he'll go for the Dryads in the short term because they're the biggest range to the Archers, and that's what's going to happen. And you can see it's quite a big mess here. He kills 3 of them and then 3 Dryads, and well, they're down to 4 at the moment, so it's looking pretty bad for me this time now. And then he shoots off. I've only got 2 wounds left, and he just shoots them off with the Briar Maidens. Now mine, I Hail Mary charge it in with the Dryad. I mean, it was either going to charge the 4 of them, and I lose 3 on the charge on the way in, so no killing that Archer unit. I do charge the Heath Riders into the Totemic Summon, and I do charge the 3 on the left into the Wild Huntsman. I managed to kill 2 of them, which is really good. But then they get killed back in return by 1 person. So that didn't end that well. Otherwise, I could have at least killed that unit. Then onto his turn. So in this combat, I'd killed quite a few of them, and he'd managed to do 3 wounds with all those stuff. So I was pretty chuffed by that. I'd killed quite a few of them because it was a full unit there. So I'm looking. It's 2 wounds. It's a bit risky, but there's a strong possibility that I could do quite well here. Otherwise, he's just moving in to get to the objective. With the left-hand side is pretty dead. So by the time of my turn, we just go over to this combat here, and unfortunately, he kills me off. I didn't even get a strike. So that one person, I think it wasn't even the big unit. I think the big unit fluffed, and it was that one small person that did the final 2 wounds. So unfortunately, that is me completely wiped out. That is the final turn of the game. Yeah, he's completely mastered me. I think we all can see my biggest mistake. It was taking risk early on with the archers, with my Sylvan Sentinels, and also my Heath Hunters. In the end, I only managed to get half points for 2 of the Wild Huntsman units, 1 of the Archer units, and the Druid Eagle on Cosmo Master. So I got 1,275 points, but he completely tabled me, took everything for nearly 4,900. The difference was 17-3, and he got the secondary as well, so it's a 20-0 first one. Luckily, we got capped that round, so I wasn't. I say luckily, we didn't do that as well. I think Ben got 9 or 11 against Chris Legg. I can't remember which way round it was. I'll have to double check that. I think it was that. But I think Anton got tabled by. I think Anton got like 7 points maybe, or a couple of points against Amit, and then David got tabled like me. So with 220s, we did that. In fact, I think Antoine got 7 points. But yeah, so David and I let the side down quite dramatically there, and yeah, we took it in. So we didn't get that many points from there, and I'm on 0 for this one. But moving forward, this was Antoine's list. I think if you were there, you saw it. So it's a beautiful Vermin Swarm army. He's got lovely banners, and it's just this. But the one picture I bring out here is in the center, you see the rabbit. This is very Monty Python, the Holy Grail, for his arena beast or the big scary monster in there, and it's just quite cool setup. We tried to see if we could play a Kingdom of Ectane army throughout the whole tournament, and we could have a really good diorama of that thing chasing a load of knights around, but it wasn't to be. Spoiler alert. Um, but yeah, it's a fantastic army. I think you can see that's mine behind when we put. I think well Ben won best painted overall. All his Warriors of the Dark Gods from an Orc army. It's brilliantly painted. He's got great giant model with claws for hands. I will show that picture later. But this is Anton's army. It's lovely and painted. But I'll go down in some detail, some key bits. So firstly, you've got the rat ogres here, and if you look here, you've got it with beer and spilling out, and there's a rat. I think there's a rat here, or it's spilling out over there. But either way, this is a really, really nicely modelled army, and you can see the attention to detail there. And then this banner here, you can just see it. The one with the cannabis or Rizzler there. It's just fantastic, hand painted. I wish I was that good. It's something I really, really do want to develop. But it's just really, really cool setup. I think, yeah. So hopefully you get to see it at some point. And then the last one is this other banner here as well. It's such a nicely painted Vonger. It really makes the unit stand out. So I think that's it. So otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Hope you do learn from my mistakes. Do not take risks so early on, and maybe hold off on the beers if you can't hold it like me. Um, so yeah, game one down. Going into game two, who are we against? Team Newt. Yes, Team Newt. But onto game two. But thank you very much for watching.